Hello everybody and welcome to Comically Incompetent. My name is Doug. This week we're going to be wrapping up Merry Shrekmas by talking about Shrek Forever After, ending this month of Shrek. I hope everyone had a good holiday season. It's the end of December as far as you guys are listening to this. So whether Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, I hope you guys enjoyed it and had a good end to what was a weird year. But to get going into this, I'm going to talk about the beer real quick. We'll be drinking a beer called Mischief by the Bruery, so I'll get more into that at the end of the show. So to talk about this last and final Shrek movie, I have our guest throughout the entirety of Shrekmas, Dom and Grayson. How you guys doing?
Doing well, thanks. And it's weird to be at the end of Shrekmas.
It is.
This was a long and prosperous holiday Shrekmas.
It was, when you look at the Shrek series, we did the first two, and I was like, yes, here we go, so excited. And then the third one was like, that was not very good. This one was better than 3.
Yeah, this one felt like a decent movie, at least.
I think the humor was worse in this one, but the movie itself as a whole was better than the third one.
It was somehow less funny than Shrek 3, which is tough. Yeah, go ahead.
At least Shrek 3 was trying to be funny. I feel like this one just played it straight the whole time.
Yeah, it really didn't. Despite having additional cast members that are comedy actors, it was there was a few moments that I exhaled slightly more aggressively through my nostrils, but outside of that, not too funny, but a somewhat intense story, honestly.
Yeah, darker than we've been used to. Just for the audience, we literally just finished all watching this together, and I can't remember a single thing that happened. I know the base storyline, and that's about it.
It was one of those movies that you just sort of you're watching, and you're like, has this movie been going on for 5 minutes or for 5 hours? You couldn't, I was lost in time the entire time.
Yeah, that's how I felt a lot too. I mean, I don't know, something was different. The interesting thing, though, they had a director here who actually I thought had a more interesting background than I'd seen for this, but weird stuff, man. He directed SpongeBob, Sponge Out of Water, the second SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
We don't talk about that one.
Yeah. Alvin and the Chipmunks, Chipwrecked, Trolls, and Lego Movie 2.
Not even Lego Movie 1?
Not the good Lego movie, no.
Not Lego Batman?
No, he got Lego 2, which, I mean, I think this movie was very on par for the other things he's directed.
Yeah.
He definitely has a brand.
Yeah, find your comfort zone and just stick with it, a la Nicolas Cage.
Oh, don't say that name on the show.
If you say it 3 times in the mirror, he appears behind you.
If you say it one more time, I stop recording.
In the knowing stance.
I feel like there's not a whole lot to talk about, so we're going to talk about this movie as best we can.
Upsetting.
And then we're going to move into the big Marvel news that hit earlier in the week that we are recording this, which is the week of we're recording this on the 12th of December, so we'll get into that. But so just getting in this movie, I think the base premise is Shrek is unhappy being a father and a husband, so he pretends as if he never was, because that's easy, and then he realizes that in perfect Counting Crows fashion, you don't know what you got till it's gone. And I think that's the whole movie right there.
Yeah, you summed it up very nicely. It was there's this beginning almost stressful montage moment where he's experiencing all this terrible distraction and stress all at once, and it's really a visceral tough thing to watch.
I was very uncomfortable. I was kind of the whole time.
Yeah, we kind of compared it to the SpongeBob episode where Squidward goes and lives with all the other squids, and it's just the same thing every day, but then there's this horrible moment where it's just everything that can go wrong does.
It was
I think maybe that's probably fairly relatable for anybody that's ever been to a birthday party for a child under the age of 8.
Yeah.
But pretty awful.
I think it's funny that it wasn't the kids causing the stress. It was the people in his life that he's known for a long time.
Yeah.
It was like Donkey and the pigs and Puss in Boots. Like, it wasn't his children. Who?
Oh, those pigs.
Why are the kids at barely turning 1 years old? Why are they like forming full sentences? Just the horrendous monsters that they animated them to be.
They're just tragic to look at. And they're like very like they're I don't know. Just looking at them is like upsetting to me. I compared it to the that horrid episode of Rugrats where there's like a giant baby like haunting Angelica. It's the same thing. Like that's the same animation.
It's in that uncanny valley where it's not real enough.
Yeah. Courage the Cowardly Dog-esque. Like you're just like, this is like scarier than it should be.
I was thinking the baby from Spirited Away.
Oof.
That thing was horrifying to look at.
Yeah, Shrek's children are not a highlight of this. I feel like the writers like almost know how like terrifying they are and how terrifying Donkey's babies are because they like kind of poke fun at it in the movie where Donkey's like, are they cute or are they hideous monsters or whatever he says. But,
Yeah.
They're hideous monsters.
yeah, they're pretty hideous. But like Shrek can't say anything because his kids are even
They're scary.
arguably worse. Yeah, at least
Yeah.
Donkey's babies are like a little cute in the face. And Shrek's babies like their face shape is like I don't even know.
It's unsettling, to say the
It's
least.
deeply unsettling, yeah.
We have our villain, Rumpelstiltskin, who, he's there. He does some things.
I liked him. He was good. I mean, he wasn't a great villain. But
He was better
fine,
than
at
Charming.
least. Yeah.
Significantly better than Charming. I think that he was like you actually buy that he's like smart enough to do all this, whereas
Yeah.
Charming was just
Yeah.
like why would Prince Charming do any of this?
Yeah.
This one there was like a legitimate motive, and he was like entertaining. I just don't think he was like he didn't offer the comedic relief that you got with Lord Farquaad or with the Fairy Godmother
Yeah.
the same way, and that's what this
Yeah.
movie was missing.
Yeah. I mean, I genuinely stand by the Fairy Godmother being one of the greatest villains in movie history, at least as far as the 2000s go. It's one of the greatest movie villains in the 2000s, easily. Not the top, I'm saying like top 10 up there. I just think Rumpelstiltskin, the voice actor was great. I think he did a good job. The character was mischievous, if you will.
Very Loki-esque.
So, I was actually thinking about saving this one for the Loki show, but we'll get that at the end of the show.
Oh, okay.
I think he was good. Yeah, he was definitely not a bad villain. I think everything about this movie can be summed up in, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It just wasn't bad.
One
Wasn't
thing I
great.
do have to give this movie is the cinematography is actually pretty good compared to like the last couple movies.
Yeah.
Like it's you feel all the tones that they wanted you to feel at the right moments. I felt anyway.
I mean, 2010, what else was coming around at this time? I mean, the CGI, I think, was kind of hitting and animation was being a big step up around that time. So I think they were able to
animation
kind of pull
looks
more.
much better. That's kind of what I was
Yeah.
thinking. Like the characters like look more natural, I guess. Just it was kind of very jarring to look at going from like Shrek 1 and then watching this one like so soon after each other. It's like, whoa. But then you think like what, 9 years, 10 years
About 9
passed
years, yeah.
since the first movie, so like obviously it's gonna look a little bit better, but like watching them in sequential order and seeing the animation like tick up, and then I think 2 and 3 looked exactly the same, but this one looked much different.
Yeah, and Don can speak this probably better than either of us, but I mean that DreamWorks does really well animating hair, better than Disney does. And Donkey's fur looked like really good. I'm not sure like the rendering power they would need to do that, but like it looked good when it was wet. Like it looked like wet fur.
Yeah, it did look good. It looked shaggy and thick. Yeah, it did never look like fake hair. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can tell when CG hair is like not
easily.
right.
That's why I think like when you look back at like early Disney, they did like Toy Story, but it was like it wasn't hair, it was like cloth, and they were kind of able to get away with that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's the best way I can sum this movie. It just wasn't bad. I think it had some good lines. I think the line at the end when I honestly don't remember what it is, but he says something like at the end when someone else talk. I'm fucking this up.
I wish I had more to say.
When he's like, at least I got to love you again,
yeah,
or something like that.
I got to fall in love with you all over again. That was sweet. Yeah. That was a good line.
That was good.
It offered like a touching moment, the same way like 3 was like trying to do the whole time, but just like never did, because I don't know, the tone in 3 was so absurd the entire time that you couldn't find like the heartwarming stuff that they try to sprinkle into Shrek. But this one, like, I don't know, the tone was like darker for sure. Like
it grounded
it, but it was like we were able to find kind of those like warm moments, and it was like, you actually are like more invested in the love story again, because it's actually a love story again. It's not like 3, which was a God knows what story. So it was better in that sense, I'd say.
Yeah.
But in terms of offering me what I want from like an animated movie experience, it didn't deliver that for me like at all.
Yeah.
I watch these kind of movies for like fun, like sprinkle in some good humor, something quotable. Legitimately, we were all sitting around like, do you have a quote to pull? Because I don't. Like, I don't remember that. None of the dialogue was memorable.
Yeah, I don't see how kids would have enjoyed this. I think a lot of the themes were very like adult oriented, like about fatherhood and falling in love and things that like a 9-year-old going to see this movie is not gonna see and be like relate to Shrek in any way. Because it was about finding someone that you love and having them fall in love with you all over again, being a father and what that life is like and stuff. And it's just like, your key audience here is not going to get this at all.
Yeah, and I was even saying, like, in the beginning when Shrek gets captured by the witches, like, if I was a kid, I probably would have been kind of scared for, like, that whole portion, because they were intimidating.
Yeah,
anyway, he got put behind bars and everything, and
yeah, he's being like captured and like ogres are being enslaved. Like it's kind of dark.
There were some heavy themes in this movie. We can all agree. We even mentioned that while we were watching. So we're like, I guess this could be a good lesson. Like,
it's bad to enslave a type of people that this movie was trying to
enslave.
They were just enslaving ogres because they were ogres, and I was like, it's an interesting theme to put in a Shrek movie.
Yeah, I don't know. This kind of felt like maybe something that would be like straight to DVD. Was this in theaters?
I think so. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I remember the trailer. When the trailer came out, I saw it and went, I'm probably not going to go see that. That was bad as far as I remember.
I actually vaguely remember the only moment I looked at you guys while we were watching. I was like, I think I've seen this movie, and I'm pretty sure I have. But the part where Puss in Boots is like revealed to be like fat Puss in Boots.
Yep.
Spoiler alerts in case you haven't seen it. That's like the biggest shock of this film is that he's fat. And he like slowly slides down the rope. I was like, I remember that like distinctively in the preview.
Yeah, I remember that too. I think Dom said it well. Did Avengers steal Fat Thor from Fat Puss in Boots?
A lot of themes, a lot of parallels.
I mean, that end fight scene, that's basically the fight at the end of Endgame. I'm just saying.
Yeah, just as epic.
They do a great job with ogre combat scenes. Now, were there plot holes?
Yes. Dear God, so many.
There were so many. It's almost like every Shrek movie is 130 to 134 minutes, and they can't do any longer or any shorter.
They're all an hour and a half, like maybe an hour 33, an hour 34, but they're all right in that like 3 or 4 minute window.
Yeah, like this movie, I don't know. It felt like there was like 3 scenes that were just missing entirely.
Yeah, and then some scenes that
done
was
without
like
4. Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say the last movie. It's like, okay, did we really need to see that wizard? No. Like that part could have completely been out of the movie. It would have been fine. This movie, it's like, okay, so now they're in the sphere, in the disco ball. How did that happen? We don't know.
Did they build the ball around? Like, if I'm guessing most of the audience listening to this podcast has not seen this movie. So this podcast probably makes zero sense, which is fine. But how the fuck did, like, what, 15, 16 ogres get shoved into a giant disco ball secretly? But that thing had to have already been there. Like, I don't...
Yeah, and it all was within like an hour or two, because this whole movie's in the same day.
Yeah, it's all one day.
So
It's all one day. This movie, like, that was the longest day of all time. And not just that. Can we talk about how we had never seen other ogres to this point?
There's so many.
And then all of a sudden there's an entire civilization of civilized ogres.
Which,
In both universes. In the fake one and back in the real one.
that's what I was going to say. That was probably the biggest plot hole for me, was we come back to the regular universe, and they're all the same. All those exact same ogres are all there and chilling. It's like, where did they come from? Like, how did you know where to find them in this new universe? This doesn't make any sense. But I think our fault here is that we're expecting to know and expecting to get this information from a movie that is, you know, the 3 and 4. 3 had lacked nuance. I think this movie, not as much. I think this movie did a lot better. But these 3 and 4 were definitely made purely and only for children, without adults really being thought of. So I think this movie's not meant to be looked into deeper than surface value. Unfortunately, because 1 and 2 have those deeper themes and values and jokes that adults can understand and have fun with. There's only maybe 1 or 2 in this one, like when Shrek says, he's like, I was tricked into signing something, and Don goes like, oh, a timeshare. Like, that was like a funny joke that adults are going to get, but like, that was pretty much the extent of it. Sorry, this beer is like 10%, and I haven't eaten today, so I'm gonna stop talking for a minute. You guys go.
You should have drank it. You should have drank it before the movie. I think we all.
I thought of doing it.
We all would have done a lot better if we were slightly intoxicated. Yeah, I don't really have any specific highlights of this movie. It was just like the whole time we're like, yeah, this could have been like. I think this movie could have been like the third movie.
Yeah,
almost.
I agree. Yeah. It should have been a trilogy. Not. I think 3 shouldn't have happened. You go straight from 2 to 2 ending to 4 beginning, and then you kind of just let that trilogy end out.
Yeah, they could almost blend the ideas of 3 and 4 to like one movie, where like Rumpelstiltskin's still the bad, but like Prince Charming's like trying to be almost, or is getting persuaded by, you know, Rumpelstiltskin to do this deal, and then he kind of finds out and he has this whole character arc, but they just decided to throw Prince Charming's character arc out the window. Yeah. Which is fine. Like it's Shrek. Like we're saying, we're expecting a lot from like what is essentially a money grab from DreamWorks, meaning the 3rd and 4th movies. But still, if you build up, like you're saying, if you build up the first 2 movies to such a high standard, we're gonna expect more follow through than what we got. Yeah.
I think the most redeeming line is, like I said before, when Shrek says, like, I got to fall in love with you all over again. That was, like, a beautiful line that, like, I think, honestly, the movie was held on for me, like, to be... I think, like Dom said, Rumpelstiltskin was a better villain than Charming. He did a good job. I think... But, like, I think the downfall of this movie is that I don't know who this is for. Is this for adults to watch, or is this for kids to watch?
It doesn't... Age group?
Yeah. It doesn't fit for both. Like, where were they aiming for in this... Because, like, I can't even relate to a lot of what Shrek is going through. I'm not a father. Like, how do I relate to a lot of his issues in the movie that this movie's based on? Is him being, like, so bogged down with, like, being a father and, like, fatherhood and that whole lifestyle. Like, I can't relate to that. Like, and this movie's made for kids younger than me, and I can't even relate up to Shrek. Like, I don't know anymore, man.
It didn't really have it didn't really have, like, a path. It was just sort of, I don't even know. What happened in that writer's room?
Yeah.
So it was an entirely new director.
Yeah, someone who hadn't directed any of the other ones or had any part in any of the other ones.
I'm imagining that it was pretty much a new writing team. The only people that returned really were the cast. So, I don't know. That's kind of... It just sort of seems like these are 1 and 2, and then 3 is its own separate thing, and then 4 is its own separate thing. There's, like, no cohesion from, like, the 2nd to the 3rd and the 3rd to the 4th.
I mean, if you look at the writing credits of this movie, Andrew Adamson, who directed and wrote the first 2 Shrek movies, the 2 good ones, is uncredited and just is based on the characters created by him. So he had literally, like, he was kind of a part of the team for the 3rd one, but he had nothing to do with this one. And you could definitely tell that there was Like, if you watch one, then you watch this. There's literally no connection. Like, I would think it's two separate series, just based off the same character almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dom. I know you. Like, you and I. Like, I think we saw something in this movie. Like, what did you see? Like, is there anything that you could pull out as like redeeming for this movie? I'm just curious.
Well, again, like the cinematography was actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
With the lighting and how the shots were set up and the camera moves and everything. Yeah, that's pretty much all I can really give it. I can't get the scene with Gingy fighting for his life out of my head.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a
I guess
scene.
the animal crackers.
Yeah, there's a scene where he's like a gladiator fighter. he's like fighting these animal cracker animals with a lollipop. It's pretty horrifying.
Gingy gets killed in the other universe too.
Yeah, he gets eaten
by puss in boots.
It's pretty sad.
Fat puss.
Do I have to?
You might want to beat that one. Yeah, sorry.
I don't know if I have to. Do I have to? I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, you probably should. We'll just let the YouTube audience be the only ones who know what I just said.
Jesus. But that's his name. Like, he is.
Yeah, he's
a fat
large
pussycat. There you go. Now you kind of get the gist of what he was trying to. What he said there.
Fat pussycat. Use your imagination.
I just, I went into this knowing there wasn't going to be a whole lot to talk about, but I'm amazed by how much we're scraping the bottom of the barrel right now.
I just don't nothing absorbed in my brain from what I just watched.
I have.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I have a question for you, but you can go first if you want to.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so favorite B character that was added just in this movie.
Okay.
Mine was probably Baba, the witch, or whatever her name was. Bubba. It was B something. The head witch that he was always calling.
Yeah.
She was cool.
I'm most curious about the goose that keeps getting bigger, but I think my favorite addition.
Yeah, they never mentioned. They never talked about the goose getting
the giant
bigger.
Goose that just for some reason is there and keeps getting bigger. I think my favorite addition, as much as I facepalmed a lot of their scenes, was Cookie, the ogre, voiced by Craig Robinson.
Oh yeah.
Who was just throwing enchiladas at the witches. I don't know.
Chimichangas.
You're right. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think I was gonna say the same. I was like, I feel like the writers wanted my favorite second character to be Craig Robinson's character.
Yeah, they tried really hard for that to happen.
They really tried really hard, and it just, I don't know. We were like, it was one of those things. He started talking. We're like, is that Craig Robinson?
And John Hamm is there.
And John Hamm and Jane Lynch.
I didn't know it was Jane Lynch till the credits.
Why did they give Jane Lynch 2 lines in the whole movie?
And probably have to pay her a good amount to say those 2 lines. How much
do you have to pay Jane Lynch?
All right, Grayson. So let's see. You wanted Antonio Banderas and Eddie Murphy to sing at your wedding, but if we at a cheaper price get Jane Lynch to show up and just be Jane Lynch, would that be an equal or?
I think she would be a great officiant for a wedding.
She would be a very handsome pantsuit.
Tremendous, yeah, and a very, very well put together pleated pantsuit. I'm thinking like a tasteful navy, maybe something you'd wear to the racetrack. And I think she, somewhere between her 40-year-old virgin and her like Glee character.
I forgot she's in 40-year-old virgin. Yeah, she's the. Yep. I remember.
She's the boss. Yeah.
Yep.
In a New York Minute. It's a great movie.
It is a great movie.
I wish we were reviewing that instead of Shrek Ever After. It's
Shrek
not even
Forever
called
After.
It's like they went the Fast and the Furious route for naming these movies.
Shrek 2 Forever.
Yeah, 2 Shrek, 2 Furious. And then it was like Shrek the Third and then Shrek 4 Ever After. I just got it in my head now that I was saying it. Am I having a 10 for... What's in this thing right now?
Is that water or is that something else?
Sunday, baby. Saturday. See, I don't even know.
God.
This movie was... it was a movie that we watched.
Yes.
The end.
One thing I want to talk about, though, was I think the oddest thing about this movie to me was, what the fuck was the music? What were the choices? Everything was like... You're watching a scene, the music would kick in, and you're going, don't know if that fits. Like, that's kind of how the whole movie went with the music.
Yeah, it was like weird, like covers. Almost like it didn't sound like original. It didn't sound like the original tracks. It sounded like made for Shrek Forever After tracks.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, isn't a compliment.
I feel like the writers were like, okay, I want this song here, but they can't afford that song. So they have to make a new song that sounds like that song.
It has the same feel of that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was an interesting, like, they wanted the Counting Crows vibe without the Counting Crows hits.
Even referencing the Counting Crows by saying you don't know what you got till it's gone. They literally just said the line.
Yep.
Yeah. They said the line. They did the roar.
Do the roar.
Do the roar. That's like the only, like, we talk about how memeable like all the movies are. I think that's the only meme from this movie is the do the roar.
Yeah, the fat kid that smokes like 10 packs a day for some reason talking. Do the roar.
I love you, Daddy.
I love you, Daddy.
Oh God.
We don't kink shame.
No, not here on Comically Incompetent. Does anyone else have anything to say about
Let's
this
just
movie?
go overall thoughts on the Shrek quadrilogy. Let's just cut through this movie in general, and let's go straight into the franchise as a whole.
All right, I'm going to go first, then Dom, then Grayson. That's going to be the order of this series. That's how we're going to talk about the series. So, 1, great movie. Pulled me in as a kid. I loved it. Animation was everything. Jokes were everything. I think that really shaped my sense of humor. 2, better. Funny. The music was amazing. I think more shaped my sense of humor, especially going back as an adult. I think some of those jokes are some of the funniest things still to this day. I think 2 is one that I will watch every year until the day I die. It's one that I can't wait to, like, if I ever have kids, to show them and like watch them and show those first 2 to them. I think those first 2 are phenomenal. Some of the greatest animation that's ever hit. Easily, I think. Some of the most well nuanced, well written. 3 was real hit to the series, and this one I think the best. It just wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. Wasn't bad. Definitely redeemed 3, but I think we talked about it earlier. I think you take 3 out, you make this 3, and just make it the Shrek trilogy. I think that's just how it should have gone. All right, and pass that down to Dom.
Okay. 1, classic, defined a generation, created too many memes and fan fictions. 2, masterpiece, one of the best movies we'll ever see. Again, I'll watch it every year. 3, questionable decision. 4, forgettable.
Yeah,
That's pretty much it.
sir. Grayson.
Yeah. So I think Shrek 1. I think I almost started underappreciating it because we've mentioned like Shrek 2. Like, we all love Shrek 2. It's so good from the first beat. It doesn't miss. Yeah. The story pulls you in. The humor's great. The musical moments, awesome. But in my head, I think I was using that and downplaying how good Shrek 1 was as a movie, working with much less. They had to establish these characters. They had to get us to buy into this universe. They had to get us, they had to make sure these jokes actually hit. Like, it was different. And it was really, really funny.
Yeah.
Like,
definitely.
Shrek 1 is a legitimately hilarious movie. Lord Farquaad is a great, funny villain. Like, I bet if you just compiled every scene Lord Farquaad's in, it's like 3 minutes. Like, he's not in it for long, and yet his impact on that movie is, like, crazy.
I appreciated it more now watching it for doing this series than I did back when I originally watched the movies.
Yeah, It's like one of those movies that, like, we talked about it earlier. It's 90 minutes, but like the 90 minutes, like, it stretches for like 2.5 hours, but you're like okay with it.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, that was really only an hour and a half? And then the second one, like I already mentioned, like, so like effortlessly funny. And I feel like after the second movie, just kind of that effortless humor went away. Every joke in the third one felt like this chore. It felt like they were like, I don't even know. It felt like they were just like, every time they'd like write it, they'd like look at each other in the writing room like, eh?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, okay, I guess we'll keep it. Like, I couldn't come up with anything better. But it was almost, Shrek 3 is almost like more noteworthy for me than Shrek Forever After, because at least Shrek 3 is such a terrible disaster that we can talk about it and laugh about it. Shrek 4 is so mediocre to me that I just can't like bring myself, like we're maybe a half an hour in, and I'm just like, I can't bring myself to like talk about it, because it's just like,
Yeah.
I felt like I just caught like a midday like ABC or Freeform like thing and just like kind of paid attention while I scrolled Twitter.
Yeah,
Like,
it wasn't
just
bad
didn't
enough to
draw
talk
me in.
about, but not good enough to talk about.
Yeah, you almost want like a movie to either be Jack and Jill or Shrek 2, because then like at least you can just laugh at how horrendously bad it is, or you can comment on how great it is. When a movie just sits in that like middle ground of just like, I don't know, maybe I'll catch it like in between, like, you know, I'm watching this other movie on FX and it's on Cartoon Network or something, and during the commercials I'll flip over there. That's like, for me, that's what this movie is. It's like maybe I'll flip on during a commercial break for something else, but it's never gonna pull my attention in.
Yeah, I get that. Last thing I want from before we move on is rankings from you guys. How would you rank the series best to worst?
I think that's pretty easy.
I think it's very easy. I think it's all going to be exactly the same across the board for all three of us. But I just want to hear it. I want to.
So 2, 1. Actually,
I'm thinking 2, 1, 4, 3.
Yeah, I think I'll say that too. I do have to give 4 one thing, is that I think they saw the issues with 3 and they didn't put those issues back in the 4.
I agree.
There's no Prince Charming, there's no princesses, there's no second ugly stepsister.
Yeah, they definitely took the things that people didn't like about 3 and didn't force them back into 4. They took them all out and like didn't do it again. I agree with that. That's why I think it's better than 3. Like, it's not bad enough to be bad in a good way. It's not good enough to be good, but yeah, it's definitely better than 3, I think, in my opinion. So I'd say 2, 1, 4, 3.
Yeah, I gotta go 2, 1, 4, 3 also. I wish I could like do the spicy hot take and say that 3's better, but like having just watched it last week, it's an abomination.
It is. It definitely is.
It's a horrible mistake.
Yeah.
And I'm really sad about it. I really wish we would have just ended after Shrek 2. Not only DreamWorks, but also us.
But you can't. You gotta finish the series.
You gotta see it through.
We gotta see it through. But instead of seeing it through, I'm gonna talk more about Marvel today rather than anything else.
For the love of God.
So I'm gonna start listing the things that we got this week from the Disney shareholders meeting, and you guys chime in at any point if you guys have any opinions on it. So we got not any information, but we got a release date, I believe, for the Eternals, which is pretty amazing. I'm very, very excited for that. We also got a trailer for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I thought looked pretty damn great. I was not. That was probably the one I was least excited for, but now it's definitely up there after seeing the trailer, because I think Sam Wilson as the Falcon was so put to this, was such a sidekick in the MCU so far, that to see him own a role and have Sam Wilson as the Falcon be so damn cool in that trailer really made up for, I think, him being very sidekicky and very quippy in the series that we had seen this far.
We'll see if he can carry his own kind of weight, and I think he will be able to.
Yeah,
but it'll be interesting to see how those two work without, because I mean, Chris Evans is like, he owns the screen when he's on the. So it'll be interesting to see if those two can carry the same kind of weight.
I mean, Anthony Mackie is a phenomenal actor. I don't know too much about. I can't even remember his name. The guy who plays Winter Soldier. Mm-hmm. I know he's a good actor for sure, not bad at all. But I think Anthony Mackie definitely is a phenomenal actor who has some credit behind him that I think he could definitely rule a leader of a series. Yeah, for sure. More information. Shang-Chi wrapped. I'm very excited for Shang-Chi. That's going to be a really cool movie. We got confirmation that Ronnie Chang is in it, which I think is going to be interesting, having a comedic actor like him. And Awkwafina, she's in it as well, being those comedic kind of types being in a superhero movie, which I think will be really good. I think they'll do a good job. We got a new trailer for WandaVision, which I'm most excited for, because if anyone's listened to the show before, everyone knows that my top two favorite superheroes are Wolverine and the Scarlet Witch. So a series about her is making me very excited. That trailer looked fucking weird, but really cool.
Yeah. So one thing with that is so it's going to be a show, right?
Yes, Disney Plus show.
Yeah. So do you think there's going to be a main villain throughout at least, if it's a season, this first season, or is it kind of just like an event that's happening?
Part of me feels like she's her own villain, because my theory about this is that this is her completely breaking down.
Yeah, that's kind of how it feels.
Yeah, ripping open the multiverse and causing the issues all herself and having to fix her own issue. That's my theory. I don't know, but I think that's what I think is going to happen. We got a trailer for Loki, which I don't fully understand what that show's about, but I'm in. I'm going to watch the shit out of that. I'm in. I don't get it, but I'm in.
Right.
It's pretty perfect for his character. It's just like, I don't get it, but like, I'll watch because it's Loki.
Yeah, it looks really fun.
It does. It looks like a really, like, not to sound like a fucking commercial, but it sounds like a thrill ride that I'm in for, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the Six Flags?
Yeah.
Jesus. We also didn't get any information, I don't think, but Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, very excited for that. That you have to watch WandaVision, I guess, to understand Multiverse of Madness. That's pretty interesting how Disney's doing that. We got a new trailer for the What If series, the animated series, but what if the series had gone differently? What if Peggy Carter got the serum instead of Captain America? Which, honestly, I would have preferred in the movie anyway. I think Grayson would agree with that one.
Couldn't agree more.
I'm really excited for that, so that's going to be a completely, like, not knowing what to expect. I think for people who didn't read the What If comics, it's going to be a whole, like, new experience for people to see, like, what if your favorite movies didn't go the way that we saw them originally. So that'll be super interesting. We got confirmation on the Hawkeye. Hawkeye is going to be a TV show. Jeremy Renner will be back, and Haley Steinfeld will be Kate Bishop.
I'm out.
I'm gonna watch it because I know I have to get the movies later, but I don't know if I necessarily want to. Like, I think she's a good actress. I think Bumblebee was I think the best Transformers movie we had.
That's pretty good.
But I don't know if Jeremy Renner and her could carry a TV show as Kate Bishop and Hawkeye.
It's a no from me, dog.
All right, Randy Jackson. We also got confirmation that Christian Bale will be the villain in Thor: Love and Thunder as Bor the God Killer or something like that. Bor the God Slayer. So Christian Bale will be... I looked up what that villain's going to look, because I never really read Thor comics. I looked up what that villain's going to look like, and Jesus Christ, he's going to mocap the shit out of that. They will not be doing live. He's going to be mocap for sure and doing the dialogue.
And that movie's Taika Waititi, right?
Yeah. No, that's...
It's not?
Wait, is it?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it is. It is. You're
It
right.
is?
It is.
Cool.
Yeah, it's Taika. Which...
We've seen Christian Bale go through body transformations. Are we sure he can't do it?
I want you to Google him and tell me that. He
could be Dick Cheney.
If he could be Dick Cheney, he could be anybody. Yeah, so that's going to be... Taika Waititi's getting his own Star Wars movies as writer-director, so that's going to be pretty amazing. Black Widow, no new information, but it's going to come out eventually. I think maybe to Disney Plus, probably. Who knows? No new information, but Blade will be happening. That's exciting. New information about Miss Marvel. We got a teaser for Miss Marvel and a cast. And directors are all Middle Eastern directors. We have Middle Eastern cast, a Pakistani lead. So that's pretty exciting. Pretty great for getting, diversity into the Marvel series, which it desperately needs.
Dear Lord, it needed that.
It really needs some diversity. We got She-Hulk news. Tim Roth will be back playing the Abomination for the She-Hulk show. So the first link we have to the Edward Norton Hulk movie will be Tim Roth playing the Abomination, and they confirmed that Mark Ruffalo will play the Hulk in that series as well. So we have that coming back. Moon Knight, no new information, but show's happening. Captain Marvel 2, new director, Nia DaCosta, so she's going to be directing the movie, and I'm just excited as hell for that. I really love Captain Marvel. Secret Invasion is going to be a series which confirms Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn will be back to play Nick Fury and Talos the Skrull, respectively. So excited for that. That's gonna be interesting. I really wish that was a movie. If anyone read the Secret Invasion series, that would have been better as a movie, I feel. But whatever. I'm not in charge. Ironheart is going to be a new series about someone taking over the Iron Man mantle and doing a more apparently advanced suit than Tony Stark ever did. Don Cheadle's getting his own series as the War Machine in a series called Armor Wars.
Oh.
I think that could be good. We've never seen him
cool.
own a role, but we'll see.
Yeah, it could be good.
It could be really good. James Gunn will be directing and writing the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which will come to Disney Plus in 2022.
Is that going to be like the Star Wars holiday special?
That was the inspiration, apparently, he said.
Oh, no.
So we'll see how this goes. I think that was the inspiration. A new animated series called I Am Groot, about Baby Groot, coming to Disney Plus. It'd be interesting. They announced Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So that'll be the third Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which I'm sure my dad will be very excited to do a review on that movie as it comes out. He is the
As
Ant-Man.
is tradition.
He is the Ant-Man master. He's only seen like Ant-Man and like 2 other ones, but we'll see how that goes. Black Panther 2, they are not recasting the character of Black Panther. Thank God. I'm hoping the mantle goes to Shuri, because that's what happens in the comics. But I'm glad they're not going to recast, at least not now. Very excited to see how they pull this one out and how they change the series. With, obviously, we all know Chadwick's unfortunate passing, so we'll see how that goes. And the last one I want to talk about, which I think is the biggest one for me, is a Fantastic Four movie has been announced. With the director who did the Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home will be directing that. Whereas they're going to give Spider-Man 3 to Sam Raimi, who we know directed the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man series. So there's a lot to unpack on that. We don't have to do that today, but I know that Dom has probably a few feelings here and there about Sam Raimi coming back, and rumors of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and Alfred Molina and a lot of people coming back for this possible Spider-Man 3. So I don't know what's true and what's not, because that became a meme very quickly of joking who's going to come into the next Spider-Man movie. So I don't know what's true, what's false, but there's a lot to unpack on what Spider-Man 3 and Fantastic Four could possibly be. Dom, how do you feel about Sam Raimi coming back to this?
Oh man, it's gonna be great. I don't want to jinx it, but I feel multiple Spider-Men crawling up something. It's gonna be great.
I feel Tobey Maguire crawling up my pant legs.
I'm letting him in. I'm not gonna fight it. I'm excited to see what goes on. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say Fantastic Four is kind of cursed, so I don't know how that's gonna work.
I want a good Fantastic Four movie. You can argue that the original 2004 one wasn't bad, but I want Fantastic Four done right. I actually really enjoyed the first Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I know you did. I did.
The second one was garbage. Silver Surfer was garbage. They changed Galactus to a black hole for some reason, and not Galactus. The Silver Surfer was weird. I don't know. That movie was weird. But the first one I don't think was bad. At the time, I'm not saying if I went back and watched it now, I'd be in love with it. But I definitely was when it came out in 2004. I'm excited for 2016 was, I'm sorry, but a pile of hot garbage. That 2016 movie just made me straight angry. That was
I still
garbage.
haven't seen it.
That was the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. And that's saying a lot because I've watched a lot of crappy movies.
Shrek the Third.
That was a nuanced, beautiful film compared to that Fantastic Four movie in 2016.
All right.
I mean, nothing. It's a whole nother show. But yeah, I mean, that's all. Do you guys have anything you want to add about the Marvel news coming in?
No, not really. It's pretty exciting. I mean, alongside all their Star Wars news, it's
a lot
to take in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
it
was
feels like the Spider-Man news is overwhelming. You don't know what's real and what's not real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna kind of sit back and wait for official releases and not just trust any Twitter post I see.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, that last week was such an was the Game Awards that night, so a bunch of games revealed for that week. And the same day we had Disney releasing Star Wars and Marvel news, which Star Wars has a ton of other stuff going on as well. That was an overwhelming day to take all of it in. It's taken me the last couple of days to look at it all and kind of take it all in piece by piece. But I mean, I know the closest thing we have is WandaVision coming out July 15th on Disney Plus. So I'm excited for that. I want to maybe review the series or each episode. We'll see, kind of see how it goes. But I'm going to go into the beer real quick if you guys are cool with that. We have a beer called Mischief from the Bruery. Mischief because I think Rumpelstiltskin was getting a little mischievous in this thing. Right? Getting a little mischievous there. This is from the Bruery. They have different locations in Placentia, in Anaheim, and at Washington, D.C. So we kind of go California and Washington. So that's pretty cool. The Mischief is a dry hop Belgian-style golden strong ale. It's a hoppy Belgian-style golden strong ale. This wickedly good golden ale is fiendishly dry hopped with American hops to add a layer of complexity and mystery to its fruity, dry Belgian-style character. If you can't tell, I'm reading this straight from the website because I am not as nuanced as the people who wrote this. Citrus and resin diabolically combined with ripe melon and pear to a slightly peppery spice in a precariously effervescent, Jesus Christ, I can't read. Precariously effervescent mixture. It was damn good. I downed that motherfucker. So I would highly recommend them. They have some amazing stuff at the Bruery. So if you're in DC or Southern California, I'd check them out. I mean, fantastic, phenomenal brewery. Mischief was damn good. I'm very excited to go get more of that. But I think that's going to wrap up Merry Shrekmas, everyone. That wraps up Comically Incompetent for the year 2020, wrapping out our first year as a show. So I couldn't be more happy to have you guys on with me to end this year and to end this year podcast, this weird year. Hopefully 2021 gets a little bit better. So thank you guys so much for being here and wrapping out, doing 4 Shrek movies with me as bad as the last 2 were.
You got it, boss. Good time as always. 2020 was a beast. But,
Yep.
You know what? Shrek got us through.
Shrek rounded out our year.
Yeah. Really did.
So next week we have Adam coming on to talk about the Batman trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy. We need to start 2021 with something hopefully a little bit better than the way 2020 went. The interesting thing is, I think when Ben and I started the show, we only recorded 7 episodes in person before the pandemic hit in March.
Man.
So it's been interesting to see how this show has evolved from being a comic book show recorded in person in the same room to being a movie podcast doing Shrek at the end of the year with just me as the host. So it's been interesting. Thank you guys so much for listening. We are on YouTube. Don't forget that. Instagram, Twitter, new episodes every single Monday morning. And like I said, next week Adam and I will be starting the Batman trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy with Batman Begins. We're going to be doing Boulder beer, Colorado beer, for the first and third movies. I have a beer for the second one that's just too damn perfect to not do. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for listening this whole year in 2020. I really appreciate it. Guys, thank you for being here, ending on a whole Shrek series. I really appreciate it. And we will see you guys next year in 2021. Bye, guys.